Well, by 2005, you actually gave a statement and you changed your original statement where you actually admitted that Muñeca was not the other shooter, that you had shot both men yourself. What made you do that?
What made me do that was the fact that by then I'd grown up and I've had a conscience. Like I said, I'm not the person I used to be. Loca D is gone. You know what I'm saying? I'm retired. I'm a woman. I have a heart now. I have feelings. I was not about to let a woman, even though she didn't pull the trigger, even though she didn't do all that, I wasn't about to let her be in prison for something I did. They took off the death penalty. She had to do 2 life sentences. She got kids, grandkids. And it just didn't feel right to me that I was going to walk the streets after pulling the trigger and she was still going to be in prison. So I had to modify the statement and say she knew nothing about it. And you know what I'm saying? I made her come with me just so she can come home. I had to make it seem like she didn't know absolutely nothing. Because if I didn't, she was going to stay in prison for something she didn't do. She didn't pull no trigger.
Well, I mean, initially you got life without parole. Muñeca got life with, well, she got the death penalty.
She got the death penalty.
No life, the death penalty. Tootie, what was she sentenced to?
She copped out 35 years. She did 17 and a half and went home 09.
Okay. So now you change your statement and Muñeca starts to go to the appeals board, but the first few times they don't actually accept her. And we'll get to the story a little bit later on. 3 years after you changed your story in 2008, your mother died. And that was a major turning point in your life.
Yep, that's when I changed my life.
So what happened at that point?
When I lost my backbone, my mother, you know what I'm saying, she died of cancer. I was actually in confinement when they released me early out of confinement because my mother was dying. I was in confinement for knocking a girl's eyeball out her head. So I was doing 1.5 years in confinement because while in confinement, I beat somebody else up, you know. So in the process of that, my mother was dying and I didn't know nothing about it. So they actually let me out of confinement early so I could see my mother. And I didn't understand why I was getting out of confinement and I only did 1 year and I still had 6 months to go. So when they released me, my mother came to see me on March 1st, 2008. And while on the visit, she still didn't tell me that she only had a certain amount of weeks left to live, you know. But seeing my mother and her kissing my face and playing in my hair and hugging me and not letting me go, then she stopped. She couldn't breathe for a second. And I still didn't realize it when I saw all the medical team was already in the visiting room. And I still didn't put 2 and 2 together because I would have never thought no shit like that. Who thinks that you're going to visit your mom for the last time? So my mother actually stopped breathing in the visiting room. So they was like, okay, visit over. She got to go. The ambulance was already there. So I'm like, what the fuck is, why? You know what I'm saying? I'm still not putting shit together. My mother died 2 weeks later after that. So I lost the one person, my everything, my hero.
I'm sorry for your loss.